And at number 10, Travis Scott. Travis has faced a lot of backlash in the past, as we've come to learn, between the offensive things that he said and his conduct during his concerts, and because of this, Travis very well could be blacklisted from performing at the Super Bowl. We have of course heard about what happened at Travis Scott's Astroworld concert last year. The rapper's performance ended in tragedy as the chaos that ensued during the concert left multiple people passed away and hundreds injured. 10 people lost their lives due to the events that unfolded, and many others are still recovering from their injuries, as well as the families of those affected still trying to cope with everything. There's a lot of footage circling the internet showing what happened that night, and the madness that occurred during the performance, with people showing the crowds of people and even some fans yelling to stop the show. After the incident, we found out that the Houston police chief actually warned Travis about crowd control prior to the event, expressing his concerns for public safety at the event. After people found this out, Travis started facing even more backlash, as fans said that if he really listened to this warning, these casualties could have been avoided. The NFL certainly wouldn't want to take a chance on Travis after this tragic incident. And at number 9, Kanye West. Kanye West isn't the nicest guy out there, and I think we all know that by now. Whether it's on stage or on Twitter, I'm sure we've seen Kanye West being pretty mean and offensive on multiple occasions. Remember the VMA incident where he stole Taylor Swift's spotlight after winning her award? We also have to mention his tweets as well. He's very outspoken online and has a tendency to offend people a lot. From his claims about Bill Cosby being an innocent man following his allegations, as well as his tweets bashing his own family members, Kanye doesn't hold back on this and has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, making them hate him. Because of all the backlash that he's faced as well as his unpredictable nature, the NFL probably will have him banned so as not to risk the success of their halftime show. In at number 8, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is known for his alt metal music and unique style, but he's also someone that a lot of people have come to hate. Actress Evan Rachel Wood came out earlier last year to name the singer as the person who inflicted harm upon her, accusing him of manipulating and brainwashing her from a young age. The actress posted a testimony to her Instagram calling Manson, as well as the industry, out for his actions and for enabling him all this time. In the past, Evan Rachel Wood has spoken out about the fact that she was in a toxic relationship and has detailed some of the horrifying things that she experienced, but she never named him until that time. In a published testimony, she said, quote, "He broke me down through means of starvation, sleep deprivation, and threats against my life, sometimes with weapons, which would result in me having severe panic attacks where I was unable to breathe or stop shaking." She also said that he had her phone tapped and had threats made against her loved ones. Manson has lost all credibility in the industry as well as in general public, so as a result I wouldn't be surprised if he never held another live performance again, especially not at the Super Bowl. And at number 7, Kings of Leon. I'm sure not everyone thought Kings of Leon's set was all that horrible, but some people definitely did. One LA Times writer slammed the 2011 performance, pointing out all the problems with the set. In one part of the piece, the writer says about the band, quote, "Lead singer Followill's voice is far from ugly, but when he lapses into his tomcat sounds or his strange frog croak, it's a misuse of a fine instrument." The writer also called the band's most popular songs, quote, "experiments they've outgrown." Ouch. All in all, this writer found the band's performance to be pretty lackluster. And at number 6, Radiohead. While Radiohead was performing at the 2017 Coachella Festival, their performance issues got so bad, the band decided to walk off stage. The band headlined the 2017 show, but during the performance they experienced tons of issues with the sound. First, the sound went out during a performance of their song 15 Step, and it was so bad they decided to leave the stage to regroup. When they eventually came back, they started to play the song Let Down, but they were forced to walk off stage yet again after the sound cut out. When the band returned, frontman Tom York addressed the issue, telling the crowd, quote, "Can you actually hear me?" He then added, "I'd like to tell a joke to lighten the mood, but we're Radiohead, so F it." The band ended up playing the rest of the 2-hour set with minor interruptions, but the issues put a huge damper on the overall performance. Halfway number 5, Sly Stone. While performing at the 2010 festival, Sly Stone ruined his own performance with a strange rant. While performing his songs, he decided to mix things up and rant about some issues going on with his life at the time. It was so shocking that LA Weekly called the performance a, quote, "sad spectacle." The singer was reportedly homeless less than a year before his Coachella performance, and Coachella was supposed to be his big comeback. But it was a complete disaster. During the performance, Stone cut songs short, asked how long he had to stay on stage to get paid, and went on a rant about his former manager Jerry Goldstein. The rant against the manager even resulted in a lawsuit for slander because Stone implied he was a thief. Stone then countersued Goldstein for diverting royalties owed to him, and he actually won a $5 million verdict in 2015. Even though he ended up winning this dispute, the spectacle caused long-term damage to his reputation. In at number 4, The Cure. This was bad or good, depending on your view of the situation. The Cure headlined Coachella in 2009 and went way over their allotted time slot. Coachella always ends at midnight, that's the cutoff point that the festival will never go over. But while The Cure was on stage and midnight was approaching, the band did not want to stop playing. They continued on to the delight of their fans. However, Coachella was not happy about this, and a little after midnight, Coachella decided to pull the plug on the band so their set would finally end. While the band was performing the song Boys Don't Cry, the festival pulled the plug on the instruments. Then they blasted field lights all over the crowd to let them know it was time to go. Reportedly, the band still kept playing, and some fans rushed to the front of the crowd to hear the final notes of the song unplugged. I'll let you decide if it was a good or bad move. And at number 3, Janet Jackson. The Super Bowl halftime show is one moment a year that millions of people tune in to watch at the same time. People turn off their reality TV programs and reruns of Jeopardy to grab a snack and watch the year's biggest performance. Well, during the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show, viewers watched a serious wardrobe malfunction happen that was life-changing to say the least. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing together when a move went wrong, and Janet's breast ended up being exposed. Following the incident, the media dubbed Nipplegate, the FCC sued CBS for the live incident in a $550,000 lawsuit citing indecent exposure for their cause. Janet Jackson was put through the ringer for her part in the whole scandal. As a result, she was uninvited to the Grammy Awards that year, and her songs were blacklisted from the radio. Even the next few albums she released following the incident was met with negative reviews because of the scandal. After this huge scandal, Janet faced some pretty big setbacks, and many people thought that she was permanently banned from the Super Bowl. This could be true, but since it's been so many years, we really can't know for sure. In at number 2, 50 Cent. Back in 2016, rapper 50 Cent got in some trouble while in the Caribbean after saying some colorful language on stage at one of his concerts. It all happened during one of his performances while in St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, the use of profanity in public is illegal, and so when it came to his concert, he was told that he had to refrain from using any adult language while on stage. But during one of his songs, he mistakenly said the word mother effer in front of the audience of 40,000 people, and it was a huge no-no. He was allowed to finish the rest of his set, but he was promptly arrested after the show. In his defense, 50 Cent said that he didn't have a clean version of the song and he forgot to move his mic away from his mouth when he said the word. Because the halftime show was broadcast live, networks want to make sure that the show is somewhat family friendly, and since 50 Cent has been in a scandal for using profanity in public before, he could be banned from performing just to be on the safe side. And finally, at number 1, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Super Bowl seems to be pretty good at creating scandals. Whether it's related to the game itself or the halftime show, there's bound to be some kind of trending moment during the event. And in 2014, there was a scandalous moment during the halftime performance by the band the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Even though during their performance it looked like everyone was jamming out hardcore and having a good time, it turns out that was all pretty much fake. The band was exposed after it was revealed that they performed with their instruments unplugged and pre-recorded setlists playing over them. After they got exposed, they explained that they pre-recorded their performance as to ensure that nothing went wrong, but somehow, even with those precautions, they still ended up in a bit of hot water with fans. Now they could be banned after this scandal. Though it wasn't major, the backlash was still there and fans might not want to tune in again to see another performance flop, and obviously the NFL doesn't want to see that, so they wouldn't let them back. In at number 10, Adele. Adele shaded the NFL in 2016 when she revealed that she rejected their offer to perform at the 2017 halftime show. In August of 2016, Adele took the opportunity during her show at Las Vegas' Staples Center to set the record straight about if she would be the star of the next year's halftime. And she said it was a hard pass. She said, quote, "First of all, I'm not doing the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, that show is not about music. And I can't dance or anything like that. They were very kind, they did ask me, but I did say no." And from that standpoint, I get what she's saying. Adele is known for her iconic ballads, not the insane shows that are generally put on at the Super Bowl. This was not the end though. The NFL came back with their own shady dig, claiming that they never actually offered her the halftime show in the first place. Clearly someone is lying, but either way, that relationship is torn. And at number 9, Jay-Z. Jay-Z is another star who turned down the chance to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, and he revealed the reason why in a song. In the song Ape Shit, that was made in collaboration with his wife Beyonce, he rapped, quote, "I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you. "Every night we're in the end zone, tell the NFL we're in stadiums too." He also took the time to call out the Grammys as well, as he feels he has not been respected by that organization. The source reported that Jay said no to the 2018 halftime show, which Justin Timberlake ended up doing. But it's clear he's not done with the organization altogether. In 2019, Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, made a deal to team up with the NFL for a multi-year partnership intended to, quote, enhance the NFL's live game experiences and to amplify the league's social justice efforts. This role means that Jay-Z plays a role in selecting who performs at the halftime shows in the future. In at number 8, Rihanna. Rihanna passed up the Super Bowl show in 2019 because she wanted to stand in solidarity with San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick's "Take a Knee" movement. Rihanna commented directly on her reasoning for not taking part, telling Vogue, quote, "I couldn't dare do that. For what? Who gains from that? Not my people. I just couldn't be a sellout. I couldn't be an enabler. There's things within that organization that I do not agree with at all, and I wasn't going to go out and be of service to them in any way." Rihanna usually doesn't comment on things like this, but it's clear she wanted everyone to know the reason that she did not want to perform was because of the NFL. That year, the organization struggled to book a performer, and in the end, Maroon 5 and Travis Scott agreed. In at number 7, Sinead O'Connor. In October of 1992, Sinead O'Connor caused some controversy during her guest spot on SNL. She was brought on the show to be its musical guest, and already people were a little confused by her as she refused to sing one of her songs from her recent album at the time. She instead opted to sing an a cappella version of Bob Marley's song War. It was an intense performance, and she even changed some of the lyrics to specifically mention young people. As the song came to an end and she was wrapping up her performance, she pulled out a photo of Pope John Paul II and tore it up, saying, quote, "Fight the real enemy." Sinead's actions caused a huge stir. After her performance, NBC started receiving thousands of angry calls over the following days, and even some celebrities came forward to criticize Sinead's actions. There have already been many scandals in the past when it comes to the halftime show, and the network has been known to get many complaints, so they probably don't want to hire Sinead to perform, even if she was a guest. Because of her past controversies, they probably banned Sinead from performing at the Super Bowl. And at number 6, DaBaby. Last year, rapper DaBaby caused a big uproar in the LGBT+ community. He got into quite the controversy after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on the stage, the rapper made offensive comments about the gay community, as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a, quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. This was a huge scandal at the time, and so because of that and the nature of the comments he made, the people who organized the Super Bowl probably won't want to have the rapper perform at the halftime show, and they have him banned. Maybe not forever, but certainly for now. Halfway number 5, Akon. Rapper Akon once got so mad at a fan that he threw him off stage. And I don't mean he was escorted, I mean he literally picked someone up and threw them. The whole incident went down in 2007 at one of his performances at the Duchess Stadium. A 15-year-old fan threw an object at Akon from the audience, and this really made him mad. He had people bring the kid up on stage just for Akon to pick him up and chuck him off it. As a result of the incident, Akon was given a $350 fine and was ordered to complete 65 hours of community service. This kind of behavior definitely wouldn't be tolerated at the Super Bowl. The NFL might think that Akon could react in a similar way if something went wrong, and Akon snapped again, and they probably don't want to risk another meltdown. He probably won't be invited to perform at the big game. And at number 4, Billie Joe Armstrong. In 2012, Green Day was performing at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, and things got heated. According to the band's frontrunner, Billie Joe Armstrong, the show's producers had allegedly cut the band's set time down from 45 minutes to just 25. This obviously didn't sit right with him, and as he watched the timer count down as he and the band performed, that just made him angry to the point where he sort of threw a tantrum when the band was down to its last minute of set time. Billy kept shouting, 1 minute left over and over again, and went on to say that he's been around since '88, hinting that since he's been around for so long, he deserves respect. Then in a fit of rage, he took his guitar by the neck and began smashing it on the stage until it broke. He then threw his mic and stormed off stage. Much like Akon's on-stage meltdown, the NFL probably wouldn't want to risk something bad happening on stage, and so the Green Day frontrunner could be on the list of banned celebrities. And at number 3, Eminem. Eminem performed with 4 other artists during last weekend's Super Bowl show. The show featured performances from iconic hip-hop artists including Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, and Mary J. Blige. In the middle of the show, while Dr. Dre was playing a piano, Eminem took a knee and put his hand over his head. Many took this as a sign of Eminem's support of Colin Kaepernick's Take a Knee initiative. This is even more controversial because it was reported that the performers were banned from taking a knee during the show, and anti-police language was taken out of many of the songs during the show. Eric Gardner reported on Sunday, quote, "The league nixed a plan by Eminem to kneel, Colin Kaepernick style." Eminem has not clarified his intention since the buzz started, but I think it's clear what he was doing, and because he defied the NFL's rules, he will not be asked back to perform. In at number 2, Jennifer Lopez. After J-Lo and Shakira joined forces during the 2020 Super Bowl, J-Lo admitted they included a political message in the performance. During the set, J-Lo's daughter Emmy sang a few lines of Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, with Let's Get Loud. Then at the same time, kids looked to appear in small cages on the field behind a large fence. Some viewers noticed the kids in cages as an apparent reference to President Donald Trump's immigration policy of separating families at the US-Mexico border. After the show, J-Lo confirmed that was the intention, and the whole thing was planned to send a message to the government. She said, quote, "All I want my girls, the little girls on stage with me and all over the world to know is how to use their voices and be proud of everything they are. Other people can try to build walls, keep us out, or put us in cages. We are proud to recognize that all of us together are what makes this beautiful country truly great." And finally, number 1, Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus is a celebrity who's gone through a massive transformation in her years since becoming a celebrity. She used to be known as the innocent Hannah Montana on the Disney Channel, but as soon as she left Disney, she became Hollywood's wild child, because she's known for doing the unthinkable, like twerking on Robin Thicke at the VMAs. Because of all this, she is banned from performing in the Dominican Republic. According to the AP, government officials deem that Miley, quote, "undertakes acts that go against morals and customs which are punishable by Dominican law, and thus she cannot perform in their country." And I'm sure the Dominican Republic is not the only country that feels this way, and does not want performances by Miley in their country. Because she's so unpredictable and not family friendly, I would assume she will not be asked to perform at the halftime show. In at number 10, Drake. Drake's 2015 Coachella performance was another that was universally labeled one of the worst ever. In 2015, Drake was the king of hip-hop, and fans couldn't wait to see him headline at Coachella. But it was a complete disaster that included appearances from Madonna and Nicki Minaj. That cringy Madonna kiss on stage was one moment I don't think fans will ever forget. One website even declared Drake was, quote, "the worst headliner in Coachella history." Even crazier, Drake agrees that the set was terrible. When asked about Coachella, Drake said, quote, "I took an L for the first time. I just have to reassess what went wrong with my judgment." Even though most people were pretty hard on Drake, a lot of people pointed out that being a rapper at a festival like that is difficult because he didn't have a band to help people stay entertained. In at number 9, Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion raised some eyebrows with her Coachella performance after she decided to perform a diss track to one of her exes. Near the end of her set, Megan decided to share a new track with fans, which left some fans confused. Over a reworked instrumental to a Wu-Tang remix, she rapped a very personal diss track. From some of the lyrics, we can assume the track was aimed at Tory Lanez. Lanez is the rapper who Megan is in a court battle with after she accused him of shooting her in the foot. In the track, Megan disses the women that this person is hanging out with and claims the only reason this guy is getting any women is because of her. In at number 8, CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green's Coachella performance has gone down in infamy as one of the worst Coachella performances of all time. Green performed at the 2011 Coachella Festival, and his behavior left a lot of fans frustrated. First, he showed up about 30 minutes late to the set, which led to many fans booing him and leaving the stage. When he finally did show up, he only had 20 minutes left for his set. Instead of taking accountability and apologizing, he decided to blame his lateness on the festival. He came to the stage and said, quote, "Sorry guys, I just landed. Y'all still gonna party with me? I only have 20 minutes. It isn't my fault. They should have given me a better time slot." He only played 5 songs before the sound was cut and he walked off stage. The whole thing was just a mess. And at number 7, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. In 2014, Bruno Mars ran the halftime show and decided to bring out the Red Hot Chili Peppers as one of his guests. The band and Mars performed Give It Away, and everyone loved it. However, during the performance, fans on TV realized that the bass and guitars were not plugged in, making it clear it was not actually a live performance. The band started to get tons of backlash, and people were angry that they didn't play live as they had claimed they would. The bassist later made a statement which revealed, quote, "When we were asked by the NFL and Bruno to play our song, Give It Away, at the Super Bowl, it was made clear to us that the vocals would be live, but the bass, drums, and guitar would all be pre-recorded." The band's guitarist also doubled down, revealing that every band in the last 10 years has also performed to a recorded track, because there's way too much room for error with a real live performance. I'm sure the NFL did not like that the band revealed a coveted secret like that, and since that revelation, fans have looked down on the legitimacy of the performances. And at number 6, MIA. MIA made a huge mistake while performing with Madonna at the 2012 Super Bowl that not only cost her career, but forced her to pay up a massive lawsuit. During Madonna's halftime slot at the 2012 Super Bowl, she brought out her collaborators on the song Give Me All Your Lovin', MIA and Nicki Minaj. But the great night came to a crashing halt after MIA flipped the bird at the end of the performance, and millions of viewers at home saw. The league was so outraged by the decision that they decided to sue MIA for $16 million. The suit was settled between parties for an undisclosed amount. She claimed the finger was a quote display of female empowerment through being punk rock. Madonna later commented that she had no idea it even happened until much later, and she was really surprised to learn that it happened. In the end, MIA is clearly never allowed back, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was never allowed to perform anywhere. Halfway number 5, Fergie. Fergie is known for making all of her performances original, but many didn't expect that to be the case when she's singing songs like the national anthem. Fergie made us all cringe when she tried out a new rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, and we all just wanted to make it stop. But that was not the first time a cover of hers went wrong. In 2011, Fergie and the Black Eyed Peas hosted the Super Bowl halftime show, and they brought out special guest Slash during a performance. In between performing Black Eyed Peas songs, Fergie and Slash performed a rendition of Sweet Child of Mine that had fans in uproar. As we know, Fergie likes to put her own spin on classic songs, but this one was not received well. It was the third song in an 8-song set list, which Rolling Stone described as the worst Super Bowl halftime show of all time. So I would assume the fans do not want her back. And at number 4, themed halftime shows. Back in 1995, the NFL decided to change up the halftime show in a big way. Instead of having a celebrity performer like usual, they worked with Disney to create an Indiana Jones themed show. In 1995, Disney unveiled its Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye ride, and they felt the best place to promote this new ride was at the 1995 Super Bowl halftime show. Disney came on board as the producer of the NFL's chief spectacle, and it was pretty goddamn strange. The 11-minute show was somewhat of a musical theater performance. First, we see Patti LaBelle lip-syncing to a random song. Then Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood show up via parachute and have to fight their way through a horde of ninjas. Then they grab the Vince Lombardi trophy and run away. Then the performers sing Can You Feel the Love Tonight?, which felt like a strange choice. Thankfully, there was no mishaps during the performance, but we're glad something like that did not ever happen again. In at number 3, Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish got some major heat after her 2019 Coachella performance, and she owned up to the terrible show in her V magazine cover story. At the time of her performance, Billie was only 17 and was most likely not ready for a show of that size. Billie said about Coachella, quote, "I really resent the things that were surrounding me during that period of time. I had that ruined for me by a person, but that's okay." Billie never clarified who that person was, but we can assume it was her ex-boyfriend, Brandon Quinton Adams. If you're wondering what made it so bad, Billie forgot the lyrics to the song All Good Girls Go to Hell, started 40 minutes late, ran out of breath, and tripped on stage. Even Billie's fans agree that the show was not her best, and are excited to see what she brings to Coachella in 2022, as she will be headlining the event alongside Harry Styles. In at number 2, Damon Albarn. During Billie Eilish's 2022 Coachella headline performance, she brought out a number of guests like Khalid and Damon Albarn. Albarn was brought out to sing Billie's song Getting Older with her because he had covered the song in the past. Albarn is best known as a member of Gorillaz and Blur. But it seems that a lot of Billie's fans had no idea who he was, and when he came onto the stage, many fans thought he was actually her dad. Even though Billie made it clear who he was when she brought him out, introducing him as, quote, "This man changed my life in a lot of ways, and changed my complete view of what music could be, what art could be, and what creation could be," even calling him a genius. To make matters worse, when Albarn finally started singing with Billie, many fans pointed out that it seemed like he didn't know the lyrics to the song, Getting Older, which is funny because, like I said before, he did a cover of the song. And finally, number 1, Saweetie. Saweetie had an unforgettable performance at this year's Coachella after she suffered a wardrobe malfunction. Saweetie was on stage in a matching bikini top and skirt combo. But while she was dancing for the crowd, her shirt moved more than it should have, and she exposed her nipple to the crowd. She seemed to be unfazed and continued singing with Brazilian singer Anitta when her top suddenly slipped down. Unfortunately, this is not the first time that she had a wardrobe malfunction. She had one just a few weeks ago at the Oscars. Saweetie wore an incredibly revealing black dress to the Vanity Fair Oscar party, and since she was so exposed, it makes sense that she had a slip-up. It seems that someone must have told her about the malfunction afterwards, because when she arrived at the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood, she had a trench coat over her dress, and she had her hand covering her private parts, which were exposed previously.